Something I never ever get sick of in a journal theme is flowers, which is why every theme in this journal for the next 6 months is going to have florals involved in some way. This is January in the Mystery Journal, which is a journal that I set up for 6 months of the year and then give away on my channel, and this one has just been given away to Samara. Over the next 6 months, I'll show you all of the themes inside, and then we'll do the whole process again and give away a new journal for the second half of the year in May. Hi, I'm Erin, and no, you can't win this journal that I'm featuring in this video, but you can still win a journal in a giveaway that I'm running on this video, so let's have a chat about that first. This notebook was very kindly supplied by today's video sponsor Tiefossi. This is the Foliage A5 notebook, but the Mystery Journal isn't the only Tiefossi notebook in my lineup. My Everyday Journal is from Tiefossi, my 2026 Reading Journal is from Tiefossi, and my new Research and Development and Memory Keeping journals for 2026 are also from Tifossi's journal collection. Safe to say, they're my go-to journal brand for their beautiful covers, range of sizes from A5s to A5s with heaps of pages, to 8x8 inch squares, to B5s and A6s, and for their durability. I've packed several Tiefossi journals with papers and tapes and stickers over the past 2 years, and I'm yet to have an issue with any of them. Tiefossi are offering 12% off site-wide until December 31, plus additional discounts that stack the more you spend, so now's the time to stock up if you need journals for next year. And with free shipping over $39 to 34 countries, the savings just keep coming. We've also teamed up for one more sneaky giveaway. 5 lucky winners will get to choose their favorite Tiefossi notebook for next year. All you have to do is be following Tiefossi on Instagram, be subscribed to my channel right here, and fill out the Google form linked in the description so I have your email address, because I've learned the hard way that people don't check the responses to their YouTube comments, and I really do need to be able to contact the winners. This is a snappy, speedy giveaway since Christmas is rushing up at us, and we want the winners to get their journals before the new year hits, so I'll be drawing the winners of this giveaway on December 11, so do not delay to get your entry in. And if you're watching this video from sometime in the future and you're like, oh, I missed out on the sale, not to worry, you can use my discount code ErinSmith at any time of year to get 10% off. Thanks to Tiefossi for keeping me in lovely notebooks, making the Mystery Journal project possible, offering this giveaway for my lovely community, and of course for sponsoring this video. Now let's get set up for January. I owe a huge debt of gratitude to my wonderful channel members for getting into the trenches with me in a live stream several months ago and helping me plan out all of the themes for this mystery journal. I really did outsource a lot of my decision making to you guys, and it helped me so much. Part of what I aim to do with my Mystery Journal project is to use up things that are in my stash and maybe have been for some time, or things that I don't really see myself using in my own journals, and give them a home in a place that someone else might get to enjoy them. Flowers are something I will always use in my own journals, but they're also a very popular item of stationery and something that I have quite a lot of in my collection, so the theme for this journal, this whole journal, every theme within it, being flowers, means that I'm going to get to use up a lot of stuff from my existing stash, which is great. We're going for a pink and purple pastel theme here, and I've just added the January header on the right side of this spread with the Pentel brush sign pen, the light pink one. They are my favorite pens for lettering. They are truly the nicest brush pens in my humble opinion, especially for writing in smaller spaces. They're really handy for varying the size of the lettering you want to do. I love a quote on a cover spread, so I've added this one. It goes, "Flowers are the music of the ground." Shout out to American poet Edwin Curran for that one. And as far as the rest of the stationery items I'm using in this video, I will have everything linked in the description if I possibly can. And if I can't, I'll try to find you an alternative, something similar. The washi tape along the bottom here is from Leela Journals. I've had that one for a while and it's gorgeous, but I like to give it a moment anytime I can. That one is sold out at the moment, I'm sorry, but you can keep an eye on it on Leela Journals' website if you'd like to get your hands on it in the future. These stickers I got from JOURNALSAY a while ago. They're florals with some silver foiling on them, and they also have a little bit of a quote situation. Some of them are a bit weird. The listing is still up for these ones on JOURNALSAY, but they're sold out of this color. You can still get them in blue and green at the moment though, so I'll still link to it. The purple floral washi tape is from London Gifties. They don't sell this one anymore, I'm sorry. And the gingham is from Paper Monogatari from the Afternoon in Paris collection. Anna doesn't stock this particular tape anymore either, but she does usually have a gingham involved in each of her collections, at least the summer ones, so you might see similar things in different colours on her site, just not this purple one, but there are other purple gingham washi tapes out there. And the sticker sheet you can see on the left side of the screen there under the journal, as well as the unicorn sticker that you can see on the left side that I haven't stuck down yet, are both from Runa Marudi via her Patreon subscription. I don't believe you can buy these ones outside of the subscription, but I do very much recommend the subscription because it's very affordable and it's fantastic, and I really enjoy being subscribed. Something I'm really trying to lean into in this particular mystery journal is a little bit of simplicity, so I'm not going too hard on decoration. I'm kind of just letting a few things speak for themselves in combination and leaving it at that. So that's actually our cover spread done. We're moving on to the calendar spread now. And since things are so lovely and soft and pastel, I didn't want to go with a bold black line for my calendar lines this time, so I'm using the Tombow 772 pink instead, which is such a lovely match for the rest of the theme. I do find when you're using the Tombow bullet nibs with a ruler, you have to be a bit careful you don't press too hard or you can damage the nib of the pen, but the trade-off is worth it for me for the pretty pink calendar lines. I personally like my calendars to start on Mondays, so I carry that over into my mystery journal setups as well. And to make sure there's enough space for actual planning on this calendar, I've made each of the planning spaces for each of the days 4 dot grid spaces tall by 4 dot grid spaces wide. This is an A5 journal, in case I didn't mention that earlier, which means once we've got all of those calendar boxes on the page, we've got just enough room for a bit of washi tape to decorate all the way around the outside too. It's always so satisfying to me that the size of the brush tip on the Tombow dual brush pens is exactly right for a 5mm dot grid, so you can just fill in spaces like this so easily. This space that I'm colouring in is where the number for each day of the month is going to go, and I am going to use black for that, but just a very nice fine 0.1 size Sakura Pigma micron, so it's nice and little. It's not adding any visual weight to the page with any darkness, it's just kind of there and easy to read. Now those pink flowery blobby silver foiled stickers, I only had a certain number of those in the packet. I think it only came with 10 stickers, and so I'm having to ration those throughout. Not every page is going to have one of those, and this one, since I've got these vertical columns of washi tape, I thought it would be a good idea to cut one in half and put half on each side so that I'm just using one sticker but getting twice the bang for my buck out of it. This is the 620 Lilac Tombow dual brush pen. I'm using that just to add the initial for each day of the week, because this journal not being for me, I want it to be very clear what everything is and the way that it functions. And then we can turn the page and move on to our next spread. The functional pages in all of the mystery journal setups within a single journal like this are always the same, because I don't want to set something up and then take it away from the winner and have them get used to using something and then suddenly not have it anymore. But the challenge is to come up with slightly different ways to tweak it every month so that it feels a little bit different, or maybe serves the same purpose but in a slightly different way. This spread is for 3 purposes. We've got goal setting in one column. On the opposite side, kind of as a mirror image, we've got a reflection section. So at the end of the month, you can come back and look at what happened in the month and did it go well? Did it go not so well? What could you change? What are you proud of? And the section in the middle here is a gratitude log. To me, flowers feel like a very positive thing. They're something that I kind of romanticize a little bit maybe, so I think by having a gratitude log in the floral journal, it's a nice way to kind of really focus on positive things. So the gratitude log has space to write down one thing you're grateful for every single day of the month. You can draw out boxes for these kinds of things to really delineate where things will start and end, but I've decided to go with a second line highlight for this because it kind of acts as extra decoration, using that purple marker and pink marker to really show where the planning needs to happen for this kind of spread. And especially for the gratitude log, when we add the initial and the number for each day of the month, then it will be really clear where all of that gratitude gets to go. January is a bit of an awkward one though, given that it has 31 days, so you can't quite split the 2 halves of January across the gratitude log. Why did I put the numbers down like that? I just kind of zoned out and my brain was like, just put it in the highlighted areas. No, we need a number in all of these. But we're just going to wrap that 31st of January right down the bottom of this page, which is why the washi tape is only on the right side of the right page at the bottom there and not all the way across like the left side. I'm just going to use a white paint marker to cover up my mistakes there. I can add a little bit of pink back on top in the places where it's obvious that I've used a white paint marker to fix those mistakes, and I'll draw the right numbers in anywhere that needs a little bit of adjustment. My marker was having a bit of trouble. I've had this one going for a long time, but once you get it going on some paper again, get some of that paint coming back through the tip, all is well. I think this spread will look a bit more busy once it's got all of the planning on it, so I'm going to leave it there and we'll move on to our next one. We're about to get a visit from the Mystery Journal Blessing Fairy, my beautiful cat Mitsu. He likes to keep a sharp eye on all proceedings in the office. It is his office, it is not mine. The spread he is supervising the setup of right now is a tracker spread. On the left page we're going to have a habit tracker, and on the right page will be a spending tracker. Trackers are really good for those things that you need a record of that happen regularly, whether that's every day or not. And they're also really good for new habits that you want to try to make part of your routine. Every time you complete the action, whatever the action is, you can mark it off on your habit tracker and get a really good idea in this kind of data representative form, whether or not you have been doing the thing regularly, whether or not the thing is integrating well into your life. Some people use it for tracking pain and symptoms for medical reasons. Some people use it for keeping track of their progress towards a target. So if you are trying to do a little bit of something every day to end up at a bigger goal, like maybe you're knitting a blanket or practicing your embroidery or learning a new instrument or something like that, trackers can be really useful to try to keep you on track, pardon the pun, and moving toward whatever goal you have set for yourself. These are kind of the most basic trackers to me. I love a little tiny calendar tracker. You can just color in every day that you do the thing, or put a circle around it, or put a cross through it, whatever you prefer. And the pink line above each of those tiny calendars is for the winner of the journal to write whatever the habit is that they'd like to track in that space. I've gone with 6 because I feel like that's a good number without being too overwhelming. So if they don't all end up getting used, that is a-okay, but better to have slightly too many rather than not enough, I think. The right page is my spending log, and it is the same as always, but I am varying it just a tiny bit for this journal. The way I usually set my spending log up, which is most of the top part of this page here, is 2 tables right next to each other, so they kind of look like one table. Each of those columns are for item, cost, and category, and you can track the money that you spend over the course of a month and give it a category, and then tally them up by category so you can see how much you're spending across things like bills or entertainment or dining out or stationery. That's a big one for me. And back here in the cash flow tracker at the beginning of the journal, the winner of the journal can go back and add those category totals there to see if they're staying on budget. It's all a big ecosystem, this journal. It's all supposed to work together. The purple second line highlights at the bottom are the new edition, because that's a space to add your category totals and have all that information there, because it's easier to transfer around if you have it on that page before you move it to the previous one earlier in the book. So that's my adaptation for this journal. This page will remain the same throughout the rest of the journal, but we will decorate it a little bit differently every time. Something I started incorporating into my own journaling practice a couple of years ago is including memory keeping pages in my journal, usually just tucked in between the months, but because this journal is for someone else, I thought let's build the functionality in so there's a dedicated space for keeping memories, and that's what this spread is. Junk journaling is really having a moment right now, which is where you collect all of the little bits of ephemera that other people might consider to be junk, so things like receipts and packaging and tickets for movies or trains or boarding passes, and you collate all of those things to kind of illustrate a memory without having to write about it in a kind of traditional journaling sense. I envision this spread being used kind of like that, but it could also be used for a collage of photos or for some long form journaling. It's totally up to the winner of this journal, because once it leaves my hands, it's not my journal anymore. Likewise with this spread, this is my spare spread. This is something I always like to include in my mystery journals because I am not psychic and I don't always know what someone's going to need in a journal. So I like to go in prepared by giving them a lightly decorated spread that they can use for any purposes that I may have missed. Truthfully, the memory spread could also be used like this if the winner of the journal didn't want to have a dedicated memory space, if they already do that somewhere else or just weren't interested. So they could kind of both serve that purpose, but that's it. I'm just going to do 2 rows of washi tape on either side and call it a day on that spare spread because I don't want to take up any more room than that. I am really leaning into the washi tape decorations so hard for this theme because I love how they look, I love how speedy and efficient they are, and they also don't bulk up a journal too much, especially compared to things like paper ephemera. Washi tape just kind of becomes one with the page, so I'm really getting a good workout out of my washi tapes for this one. The page we're working on the right side here is actually a bit of a strange one. It's a little bit of an outlier. This is the first weekly for 2026, but because the year 2026 starts on a Thursday, I have this weird kind of 4-day week situation going on. Usually when I'm moving between months, I will wrap around, so more of the days of this particular week fall into January than December, so I would have this one included in my January spreads in my own journal, but starting from the December date. But I don't really like to do that in the mystery journal because I want it to be a complete 6 months kind of start to finish situation. So I'm just going to have this kind of half spread single page weekly going on here, and there's a blank left one there that the winner of this journal can use for anything else that they like. And I do always like to include some extra ephemera from each of the themes that I set up when I send this journal off to its winner. So if the winner of this one wants to do some extra decorating, just have a play with some stationery, then they can absolutely do that. I have made sure to include enough stuff for them to do so. This is our first full 7-day weekly though. This one's a horizontal setup that I really like and I come back to fairly often in my own journals as well. I'm loving alternating my pink and purple markers, so I'm also going to alternate which one I write with kind of over the top. So I'll use the purple marker with the bullet end to write over the pink marker for my weeklies, and I'll switcheroo back the other way too. I think it's a bit easier to see the pink on the purple rather than the other way around, but in person, I promise you it's a little bit easier to read. And rather than having a perfectly symmetrical notes section added to this one to make it balance out with the opposite page, I'm going to use that space on the bottom right side for extra decoration because I love a bit of extra decoration. Onward to weekly spread number 2, well the full one, I guess it's 2.5 really. This time we're going for a column layout, so we're going to have 4 columns on the left page, 4 columns on the right page, and we're going to have them staggered. So on the left page they'll be up the top, on the right page they'll be down the bottom. We're using second line highlights in alternating colours again to delineate where all of that planning will happen. And I'm going to just play with some washi tape in the spaces left over because these washi tapes are too beautiful not to give them a moment every now and then. Since I've got plenty of space to play with on this one, I thought I would add a couple of my beautiful floral stickers. I've been conserving them pretty well. Quite a few spreads didn't have space for them, which worked out okay to help me ration them until now, but this is an opportunity to show them off. So this spread is where I'm going to give them a moment too. I mentioned earlier these have some text on them and that it's kind of weird and hilarious. I thought I would read to you the one that I end up sticking on the top part here. The text on that one says, "I like you. I like it all over the mountains." All right. The other one says, "I hope you're here for me," which is maybe a little bit less weird, but I do hope that the journal is there for the person it ends up with. Unfortunately, the presence of that text made me really neurotic about making sure this sticker was really straight. How many times did I peel that up and stick it back down before I was happy with its placement? Doesn't matter, we're good now. Let's move on to one of my favorite weekly spread layouts for when you have washi tapes that work well horizontally. You know how sometimes you'll get a washi tape and you're like, oh, this is a vertical washi tape because it has a text print or something on it where it just feels like it needs to go top to bottom on the page. These ones are great because these are the kind of washi tapes that can go any which way and it's totally fine, but this is my favorite horizontal washi tape show off kind of a layout because you get to just do these train tracks through the middle, a layer of 2 different washi tapes. Immediately the page is decorated, no more heavy lifting required. I always like to cut the washi tape that's going down the binding, the center of the spread, if it's not in a place where it's the middle of a signature where the pages are continuous all the way across. I like to just use a craft knife and a very light hand to do that so the journal closes still really nicely and doesn't get too bulky. And I wanted to make sure some of those colors were coming out into the planning space as well. So I'm adding alternating highlights at the top of each box as a place to write the name and the number for each day of the week. Onward to our last weekly, and this one is another one that works really well to show off your horizontal washi tapes. It's quite similar to the previous one, we're just kind of changing up where things sit on the page, but most of the elements are actually the same. So rather than drawing boxes around each of the weekly planning spaces for each day this time, I'm going with the second line highlight system, and I'm just alternating the color of the title and the color of the planning space so that things look very nice and different from one day to the next. So Monday looks different to Tuesday and so on. And rather than having those at the top and bottom of the spread with the washi tape moving through the center, this time we're going to orient all of the boxes towards the bottom part of the page and use the top third or so for our washi tape decoration. I'm also including Sunday the 1st of February on this weekly spread because there are more days that fall into January than February for that weekly, and this is how I like to keep it going throughout the rest of the journal too. And I still have a couple of those floral stickers left over, so I'm keeping those in mind for this spread. We're going to use 2, and then I'll include 1 in the leftover ephemera for the winner of the journal to use as they like. The final sticker has been placed on the final spread for January, and now we can have a full flip through of the entire theme from start to finish. Purple and pink is one of my favourite colour combinations of all time, so naturally I love this theme. I think it came together really beautifully. I hope you like flowers because I've got plenty more of them coming your way this year in this first mystery journal for the first half of the year, but don't worry, if you're not into flowers, I will still be doing my own journal separate to this one as well, although I do love flowers, so there's a solid chance there'll be flowers in that one pretty often too. It's the year of flowers. We're growing, we're blooming, we're going places in 2026. You heard it here first. If you are keen to win a Tiefossi journal for your own for 2026, make sure that you enter the giveaway. The link is in the description. And if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, please make sure that you leave a unicorn emoji in your comment down below so that I know, because not everybody watches to the end. That's special. Thank you. If floral themes are not quite your thing and you're looking for some alternate inspiration for January, here is January in last year's mystery journal. Funnily enough, it is also a purple theme, and underneath that is a link to another video that YouTube thinks you might enjoy.